This is the Global Unit 9.5 Enduring Issues essay section. So your goal is going to be to identify and define an enduring issue raised by this set of documents, argue why the issue you selected is significant and how it has endured over time, and then you're going to identify the enduring issue based on a historically accurate representation of at least 3 documents, define the issue using relevant evidence from at least 3 documents, argue that this is a significant issue and has endured by showing how the issue has affected people or has been affected by people, how the issue has continued to be an issue or has changed over time, and include relevant outside information from your knowledge of social studies. So as a reminder, in My Google Classroom, if you scroll down to the Global 9 section, you will always see Enduring Issues Essay Resources. Okay, you have 3 things here. We have a vocabulary list that has all the enduring issues, or a good chunk of them that you would end up seeing. You have an Enduring Issues Organizer, which you can make a copy of for yourself, where you have Document 1, write down which enduring issues you see, okay, and important information. Okay. And then you have an introduction template. So it gives you a template you can use to write the introduction, just fill in the blanks, okay, and then some explanation as to what comes next. Okay. So that's always here for you to view. Now let's look at the documents. We have document 1, and it's from The Legacy of the Crusades. One positive, undisputed result of the Crusades was a greatly expanded knowledge of geography gained by the West. With the coming of such vast hordes of invaders, from all points of Europe, the veil of the mysterious East had been lifted for good. The Arab builders learned much about military masonry from the Crusaders, who had brought this knowledge from Normandy and Italy. In constructing the famed citadel of Cairo, Saladin had taken some of the features from the Crusaders' castle he had observed up and down the Levant, lands of the eastern Mediterranean. Then, when the great cathedrals of Europe began to rise in a somewhat later period, their builders installed windows of stained glass made with technique that had originated in the ancient Phoenicians of Syria and been passed along by Syrian Arabs to Europeans living in the East. From a purely military point of view, the Crusades must be written off as a failure for the West because, after changing hands so many times, the territory comprising the Christian kingdom of Jerusalem reverted or returned to the Muslims for good. But during that 2-century battle between East and West, it is plain now to see that each side made major contributions to the culture of the other. That vast interchange let in a few rays of light over a darkened Europe and removed for good the wall of ignorance that had always existed between Europe and Asia. Let's talk about some of the effects of the Crusade. So take a second, pause, figure out which enduring issues you're seeing here. Okay, get some information down, then move on to the next one. So document 2 is a map, and it says Origins and Spread of the Black Death in Asia. Okay, so we have some common overland trade routes, which means obviously on land, over land. We have some common sea trade routes down here. Okay, we have areas of the plague. We see them kind of pop up mostly by the sea, but some inland. And you have dates that represent the breakout of the plague, so when that breakout happened. So you'll see it's over a few years. Okay. So take a second to pause this and identify the enduring issues that you see. Documents 3A and 3B are also maps. So we have the original core of Buddhism, where Buddhism started, right here. We've got the spread of Buddhism from the 1st century AD with this dotted line. You have a dashed dot line that says spread of Mahayana Buddhism from 5th century AD. And then spread of Theravada Buddhism from 5th century AD. So essentially you need to know that all of these lines represent Buddhism spreading throughout the continent. And then down here you have percentage of Buddhist population in each country worldwide. So this map up here is this area down here. Okay. So it says percent of Buddhist population, 90 to 100% of the population is Buddhist here. Okay. And you have a little bit less, but you have some other Buddhists throughout the world. Okay. So take a second to write down some enduring issues and some other information you might need. Document 4. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed west across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in the West Indies. His voyage led to the colonization of the Americas by European countries like Portugal, England, Spain, and France. Trade between the Americas, Europe, and Africa became known as triangular trade. So you can see it shows where these things are going. So you have slaves going from Africa to North America. You have silk, rice, indigo, and tobacco going from North America to Europe. You have whale, oil, furs, iron, lumber, and ginger going from North America to Europe. Manufactured goods coming back to Europe. Okay, so these are all different examples of trade. Lots of things traveling back and forth. Mostly your manufactured goods are coming out of Europe. So take a second to pause, write down your enduring issues, any other information you might want to keep track of. And then number 5, and this is going to be our most modern one always. It says globalization is the process by which the world is becoming increasingly interconnected as a result of increased trade and cultural exchange. Throughout most of human history, we've become more interconnected through trade and cultural diffusion, but since the mid-1900s, the pace of globalization has increased rapidly. This is because of advancements in communication technology like the cellular phone and the internet, and improvements in shipping technology that have made it faster and less expensive to ship goods long distances. One overall effect of globalization is that people in the world have become more wealthy with greater access to technology, education, and healthcare. But some benefit from globalization more than others. Those who own international companies and who have invested in them have benefited the most because they have become wealthier. Since the world has become more interconnected, it is easier to ship goods around the globe for companies that produce their goods in other countries. Often, companies move their factories to countries where workers will work for the least amount of money. This benefits workers in those countries because they will get jobs they did not have before, but workers in countries where the higher wages sometimes lose their jobs when factories move away. Okay, so it's talking about how a lot of times different businesses will outsource their business to other areas. They might have a factory in Japan or a call center in India. Okay, and it talks about the total value of world exports and the expansion of global trade over the years. So more and more companies are kind of reaching out to other parts of the world. All right, so make sure you write down your enduring issues. Then you're going to take a look at your chart, and you're going to pick one enduring issue that you see pop up in at least 3 of these documents, and then you're going to go over and you're going to take a look at this introduction template, and you're going to write your introduction and then write what comes next. You need create a paragraph for each document that contains a brief summary of what's happening, a sentence connecting the document to the enduring issue that you have selected, and an explanation as to why that enduring issue is significant in the document/time period you are discussing. Do that 3 times. And then finally, at the end of the last paragraph, include a sentence or 2 discussing how the enduring issue you chose still exists today, making a connection to today's world. All right.